Want to build your own loft bed to save space in your rooms? We'll show you how. After this. I'm Kyle from Adventures at Home, and this video is going to be the first one in a series where we redo Ryan's room. He's starting to get a little bit older, and while the red Lightning McQueen room is still pretty cool, he's starting to outgrow that. And now that he's starting to have friends over more, they kind of need a space where they can hang out. So the first step in this project is we're going to take his old bed, which was great for storage underneath, but it's kind of starting to fall apart. The bed's almost 20 years old now. And we're going to redo it, and we're going to loft the bed. So we're going to show you that in this video. Let's get to work. First things first, we're just going to start off with a fresh coat of paint on the whole room, because we are going to mount the bed to the wall. We want to make sure we get the paint on first. I wish there was a foolproof method to get you guys to be able to paint straight lines along trim and everything, but most of that just comes with practice and patience. Next, we're going to cut down our 2x6s, which are going to be the main frame of the bed. My chop saw, of course, doesn't go all the way through. I just have to flip it over and continue the cut. I'll upgrade my chop saw one of these days. Now, just make sure you measure your mattress to ensure that you get a tight fit around it. I won't give you a recommendation just because mattress sizes can vary a little bit, so we measured ours just to get an exact fit. And next, one of the corners, we're just going to cut notches in to overlap it, just to give it a little bit better look. You guys will see it when we assemble it, so we're going to do that now on the bandsaw. Alright, now we're ready to assemble the frame. The other three corners that we didn't cut the notches out for a lap joint, we're just going to screw together, making sure we hold them square with a speed square. Now, I know we're not supposed to screw into end grain like this, but really they're not going to support all that much weight. We're going to have a support on the one corner that's going to take most of the load. So these are really just to hold everything together while the glue sets, and everything we assemble everything else and get the other pieces assembled. This is really awesome and easier to do if you can have a second hand hold it square while you drive the screws in. Next, we're just going to cut down some 2x2s. These are going to fit inside of the frame, and these are going to hold up these slats. So these are going to hold a majority of the weight on the bed, so you want to make sure that you get these to have a nice tight fit inside of your bed frame. So if you have to come back and do a little trimming afterwards to get them down to be a perfect fit, make sure you do that. Take the time now to get it right. After that, we can lay the 2x2s inside of the frame, put a pretty good amount of glue on it. Like I said before, these do support a good majority of the weight and hold it to the frame, so don't skimp on the glue. Once you have all the pieces laid in with glue, I just brought over some scrap pieces of wood, and I'm going to lay those under all four corners just to hold the frame up off of the work surface, and that way we can check to make sure the 2x2s are flush all the way around with the bottom of the frame. Once you made sure the 2x2s are flush, drill some pilot holes and then drive some screws in to hold the 2x2s onto the frame. Once again, just like with the glue, put a lot of screws in. This is going to be holding a majority of the weight. Next, we can just cut some 1x4 pieces. These are just going to be the slats that hold up the mattress. These don't have to be as exact as the 2x2s. We're going to use 6 slats on this one. Alright, once your slats are cut, we just made some marks on the 2x2s to space them out evenly, and then we just tacked them in with a brad nailer. If you guys heard me mention at the beginning of the video, this is part 1 of a series where we're going to work on the bed as well as redoing the room. So make sure you subscribe to the channel and you can see the whole room makeover and get some other project ideas. Now this part is strictly for me. I've got a couple of areas where I have trim on the wall. I've got quarter round in the corner and another piece of trim on the wall. So I'm going to have to cut this corner off at a 45-degree angle rather than cut the trim. And then here I do have the trim running down the wall, and I'm just going to make a cut down, and I'm going to go about 3/4 of the way into the board and cut some grooves in, and then I can go ahead and just chisel that out. I know I could just cut the trim, but as long as I don't have to do that and this didn't take too much time, I'd rather do this than cut the trim and have to worry about trying to patch it if we ever decide to change this. Now we can just give everything a good sanding. I do want to point out I have been wearing a new mask in the last couple of videos. We have been bad about wearing masks mainly because they are uncomfortable, and we did find these new ones and we did a search online for these. I'll put a link in the description down below, but we really like these and we're not sponsored or anything by them, but I'll just link down below if you guys want to check them out. Next we'll cut the upright post for the ladder out of a 2x4. And then we can cut the ladder rungs out of 1 1/4 inch dowel. I'm going to have 5 rungs on this ladder. I'm going to make the ladder slightly taller than it needs to be right now until I figure out the railing, and then I can cut it off then. Once those are cut, you guys will notice I did cut out notches where the uprights are going to fit around the bed frame. I don't feel comfortable showing you how I did this on the table saw. It's kind of a more difficult method for how to do this. So you can also do this with a jigsaw and a chisel to clean it up as well. Now we're going to mark for the holes for the rung, and we'll just lay them side by side so we ensure that the holes line up perfectly. And we can drill our holes. I am drilling them a 1/16 smaller. That way we can pound the ladder rungs in. Now in order to get a perfect fit with the ladder rungs, we'll just run them on the edge of the sander quick to give them a tapered edge. That way we can pound them in and they'll be nice and tight and hold them straight. Once all the dowels have been sanded, we can apply an ample amount of glue into each one of the holes on the ladder rungs. Now we can put the ladder rungs into the holes on the uprights. And luckily I have my wife here to inform me that putting that together that way probably wouldn't work out too well. Now we can just line it up with the other side of the ladder. And with a mallet, everything goes together nicely. Now I'm just going to mark these studs new paint color looks nice. I'm going to mark all the way around where the bed frame is going to be up against the walls. Now we can bring the bed frame in. We can slide it into the corner where it's going to go. We did put the ladder on first just to give us a helping hand. It's not attached or anything. We're going to straighten that out later, but it will just help give us a little support. After leveling, we're just going to drill some pilot holes through the frame and into the wall, into the stud where I had them marked. And once you have your pilot holes drilled, we're just going to put lag screws all the way around. I used 4.5-inch lag screws. And we can just put the mattress up. I do want to remind you guys, if you like this video, please give us a thumbs up down below. And if you want to continue seeing our content, we'd appreciate it if you would subscribe to our channel and make sure you ring the bell as well. That way you'll get notified when our next video is posted. Any support that you would like to give us is greatly appreciated. And we'll just have Shannon climb up and give it a test quick. And until our next video, where we keep working on Ryan's bed and give it some finishing touches, I'm Kyle, helping you create your own adventure at home.